This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
REC Silicon could be forced to completely shut down its operations in Moses Lake at the end of September if the trade dispute with China is not resolved. 3 people have been charged in connection to the September 6th shooting along Basin Street in Ephrata that left 1 person injured.
The Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction recently made a change to its rules regarding Washington State's school disciplinary processes.
Just when it looked like it might cease to be a public event, the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival is back this weekend in Leavenworth.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
REC Silicon could be forced to completely shut down its operations in Moses Lake at the end of September if the trade dispute with China is not resolved. On Friday, congressional representatives from Washington and Montana again urged President Donald Trump to resolve the trade dispute, citing the devastating impact of Chinese tariffs on polysilicon materials, particularly in Moses Lake. In the letter to Trump, the members of Congress say REC will be forced to completely shutter its operations in Moses Lake by the end of the month, resulting in the loss of 150 to 200 jobs and severely impacting the economy in eastern Washington. Francine Sullivan, REC Silicon Vice President of Business Development, told iFIBER 1 News on Friday the company has not made any final decisions to close the Moses Lake plant, but says they might be forced to make a drastic decision. In 2014, China placed tariffs on polysilicon materials in retaliation for U.S. tariffs previously imposed on energy products from China. The trade dispute has put U.S. polysilicon manufacturers out of the market, now forcing the closure of the Moses Lake REC Silicon plant. Members of Congress urged the president to find an immediate resolution to the trade dispute over Chinese solar panels and American polysilicon. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at More Furniture in Ephrata.
3 people have been charged in connection to the September 6th shooting along Basin Street in Ephrata that left 1 person injured. Juan Valentin is charged with 2 counts of first-degree assault, Peter Flores charged with possession of a controlled substance, and Valentin's girlfriend, Sheena Montalvo, is charged with attempting to render criminal assistance. Based on surveillance video obtained by investigators, a white Ford pickup truck first pulls into the shortstop gas station on Basin Street Southwest on September 6th. A white Honda Accord then pulls up and parks at the gas pump. Ephrata police say it appears the male passenger in the truck, identified as Francisco Romero, looks over at the Honda. Valentin then reportedly exits his car and retrieves an item from the trunk before he returns to the driver's side door and tucks the item into his waistband. As Valentin walks into the gas station store, a motorcycle ridden by Flores pulls into the parking lot and parked in front of the pickup truck. Flores and Romero begin talking as Valentin exits the store and heads back to his car. Flores and Valentin reportedly exchanged words before Valentin allegedly pulled out a pistol from his waistband and fired several rounds at Flores, who was shot and fell to the ground. Romero then allegedly exited the truck armed with a handgun and began firing at Valentin. Valentin reportedly fled south after talking with his girlfriend at the front of the store. The video reportedly shows Montalvo remaining on scene and bending down to pick up shell casings near the Honda. She reportedly stopped after being confronted by 2 witnesses. Flores was taken to Columbia Basin Hospital and later flown to Central Washington Hospital for gunshot wounds to his arm and abdomen. Charges have yet to be filed against Romero as Ephrata police continue to investigate the shooting. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by...
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
The Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction recently made a change to its rules regarding Washington State's school disciplinary processes, including and especially as it relates to the suspension or expulsion of students.
The change in law really had to do with keeping kids out of school. So there seemed to be kind of, I don't want to say a spike in numbers because that's not an accurate representation from the state, but there's just a large number of students who have been held outside of school because of a variety of issues. And the new state law really limits that down to a very narrow category in terms of danger to the school, and then really around the sale of drugs. I mean, those are kind of the big areas that we would see as impact pieces.
Wenatchee High School has an annual enrollment of nearly 2,000 students and only expelled 3 during the 2017-2018 school year, according to Principal Eric Anderson. At the state level, however, over 41,000 students faced expulsion from a public school last year, which accounts for roughly 5% of Washington's entire student body. Anderson says in spite of his school's low expulsion rate, Wenatchee High is still taking steps to curb the need for ever keeping any of its students away from campus.
We, about 3 or 4 years ago, made a shift, even in our short-term suspension piece, really trying to keep kids in school. And so we've added what we call our Dean's Den, which is our in-school intervention room, where we have kids that make some bad choices, and then we hold them accountable and keep them here on campus, more so than trying to remove them from campus.
Anderson indicates that any long-term absence from school can be devastating to a student, and expulsion and suspension are definitely no exception.
The data around attendance is huge. I mean, you miss 10 days of school or more in a semester, your likelihood of failure goes through the roof. And we know that. And so even now, when we are suspending or expelling a student, we're holding a kid out. And the only reason we want to do that is if it is a safety issue associated with our building. Outside of that, we want them here. We want them getting as much direct instruction as they can get from us in our building.
The OSPI has given state schools 2 years to train their staffs and attain compliance with the new rules. The changes in the disciplinary codes for Washington students are the first in 4 decades. Reporting for iFIBER 1 News, I'm Chris Hansen.
Just when it looked like it might cease to be a public event, the Wenatchee River Salmon Festival is back this weekend in Leavenworth. Last winter, organizers of the festival, held at the Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery for 28 years, considered shutting down this recreational, educational event. New volunteers and a restructured board of directors decided to give the project a kickstart. The festival brings cultural education, entertainment, science, and recreation all into one place, at a facility dedicated to preserving Wenatchee River salmon species. Admission is free on Saturday, September 22nd from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Jefferson Robbins, iFIBER 1 News.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at iFiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.